What's up, rad humans? Welcome to the 6th episode of Stark Raving Sober. I am finally going to talk about mental illness. Oh my god, she's finally going to talk about mental... What? She's finally going to... Are you serious? I'm serious. So, Shelly asked me an amazing question. And she asked, does alcoholism trigger mental illness or vice versa? I'm just going to share with you my experience because I got sober before I was diagnosed with mental illness. I was actually 7 years sober when I ended up in my first mental hospital, and I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and PTSD. And it was very easy for them to diagnose me because I was very sober. And it was quite obvious. I held on for a very long time because I thought that if I took meds, I was not sober. And there's just no truth in that. Really. My medication, it's not like I'm going to go, hey, I'm going to take 2 lithium today. Woo! Like, it doesn't get you high. It's not fun, you know? It's not like I'm getting prescribed blow. Well, that would be awesome. Maybe I need a new psychiatrist now. Anyway, here's what happened. And here's what I see a lot. I see a lot of us relapsing because of our mental illnesses. And then I think vice versa. So what I've always said and what I have tried to always do is whatever you're doing to stay sober, do that. So I work a 12-step program, and actually I work a few 12-step programs. And that's what I do for my alcoholism. I have various things that I do for my alcoholism to maintain and to grow on a daily basis. And then I am the same with my bipolar disorder and my PTSD. I have a set of things that I do to maintain and grow with those disorders. And I do think one of my 12-step programs also really, I know that it really helps with my PTSD because it really helps me identify and eliminate triggers as much as I can. And a large portion actually of my bipolar disorder is my PTSD will get triggered, and then I will go into a bipolar depression generally. Or sometimes a mania, generally a depression, or a little bit of both, or mixed state. But that is usually, the PTSD usually triggers the bipolar episode. But when I had postpartum depression for 4 years, and it was the sickest I've ever been. And I also have an autoimmune disease, which was completely haywire as well. And I started going through early menopause. It was what doctors call a shit show. It's what I call a shit show. It was the ultimate clusterfuck, and I was so sick, and I really didn't think that I was going to make it out. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing today, because I feel like I shouldn't even be here. Like, I should be dead. And I mean, I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, I've been given, I feel like a cat with many lives. Like I could have died many times, and I'm still here. And so what am I going to do with that time that I'm here? And I hope that I can be of service and share my experience with co-occurring disorders, because I've seen so many people not make it through. and I almost didn't make it through. So what happened was I was sober, clean and sober 15 years, and I relapsed. Now, not on alcohol. I haven't had alcohol since November 15th of 1997, but I relapsed on pot because I thought it was going to help, and it was a one-time relapse. You know, the medical community calls it a prelapse. I did start my sober time over again for many reasons. The biggest one was I felt like if I didn't, that I would drink, because it set off that ism. It set off that brain thing that says, you know, it's kind of like when you break your diet, you know, it's like, well, screw it. Let's eat a whole cake. And that's where I went was, well, screw it. Let's get drunk. But I was so suicidal at that point. I knew if I drank, I would kill myself. And I came very close to killing myself. And the only thing that kept me here was my son. He was 3 at the time. And I will tell you that story at a different time. But I relapsed at 15 years sober. So now, you know, clean and sober. So I've been clean, you know, back, 4.5 years. And it was purely my mental illness that caused me to relapse, because my mental illness was out of control, and it was only a matter of time. I made it like almost 3 years of that 4 years without relapsing. So they absolutely affect each other. For a long time, I was told that I didn't have a mental illness, that it was just my alcoholism. And, you know, it wasn't. But getting sober showed me, unfortunately, how ill I really was. But I had to remove the drugs and alcohol to get clarity on the other things that were wrong, so I could get properly diagnosed and I could get to the bottom of things, you know? And so what I do for my mental illnesses is I go to therapy. I've been in therapy since I was diagnosed in 2006, and I was in therapy 2 times a week, sometimes 3 times a week for years. I am actually down to once a week. Ha! I've been down to once a week for like a year now. And I take my medications. I take them regularly. I do not run out. I take them at the same time every day. It's very important. Very, very important. Because if I risk my mental health, I risk my sobriety. And I think also, I know also, if I pick up a drink and a drug, my mental illness is absolutely going to be affected. Now, just the fact that I am on several psychiatric medications, who knows what could possibly happen if I did pick up a drink? I could die very quickly. You are not supposed to drink with the medications I take. And I don't just take one med. I take a cocktail of medications. SSRIs, I take dopamine, Wellbutrin's a dopamine drug, and I take lithium. I could die if I drank. And that is, nothing good is going to happen if I drink. Nothing good is going to happen for my mental illness. And I'm going to get totally off track with everything. And knowing me, I'm going to spiral down into depression and end up suicidal, because that's where I go. So, did I answer it? Did I? Shelley, tell me, did I answer it? Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. this has been such a wild ride. I absolutely love talking about all of this, and I haven't heard a lot of people talking about this. I hear a lot of therapists talking about it on YouTube and stuff, but not people who actually, are going through it. So I hope that there are those of you out there who are getting something from this. And if you know somebody who could get some help by, listening, watching these videos, and I am available, comments, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, I'm not going to do any of that, but I will absolutely say I love you and I support you, and good luck, good luck, good luck, and I'm the biggest cheerleader on earth. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and like and all that stuff, and stay rad.